Now, if your game plan revolves around does he know, where every time you're faced with a different opponent, you have this set of flowchart that you're running through until you find what works and what you can abuse until you beat them, then chances are in this game that is Tekken 8, you could actually climb up pretty high in the ranks as long as you have strong flowcharts. The issue with such a game plan is that if your opponent does know, then you're kind of put in a situation where you actually don't really know how to open them up anymore. This is entirely due to the fact that such a game plan is selfish in a sense, in that it doesn't really take into consideration your opponent. The only thing this game plan relies upon is, does he know or does he not know? Anything beyond that is not accounted for. And so before you go into this training arc where you're worried about every single move that every character in this game can do and how to defend against them, which realistically you should be doing to an extent if you're looking to get better at this game, you should actually look into your own character first. Take a look at your offense and try to understand how to make it work better so that when you're faced with an opponent that seems to know something about your game plan, it actually doesn't stop there. You're able to evolve the game and go deeper within the layers of Tekken. And so today we're taking a look at how to actually build such a game plan that takes into consideration our opponent, their reactions and their answers, so that as the set goes on, we're actually able to adapt to them. Now to start adapting, we necessarily need information about our opponent. So let's talk about doing nothing for a second. When I say doing nothing, I don't mean just standing there menacingly, but moving around a little bit while taking a close look at your opponent and trying to get a feel for the moves that they like to use in neutral, how they like to stand, where they like to move, etc. What a lot of people don't seem to realize is that players are constantly whiffing in this game for no reason whatsoever, and if you were to just pay attention to the moves that your opponents are doing and make sure that you're not letting them get away with it, you could actually go really far. This is why observation is very necessary, because you do not adapt to something that you simply don't know is not happening. Now, outside of just passively observing our opponent, there are plenty of moves that we can use to try and extort information out of them, such as moves that give us a frame advantage, like certain lows on hit or power moves on block, quick pokes, and stance moves. Now, when you're using your moves, you're primarily looking for two things. One, was my move blocked or did it hit? And two, what did my opponent do afterwards? To give you more concrete examples of what I've been yapping about this whole time, we're actually going to be taking a look at Shaheen. I'm also going to go on some online matches afterwards so that I'm not just showing you guys things in practice mode. That might not be the most helpful thing for you guys. But Shaheen is a very simple character that is excellent at poking and punishment. And as I said earlier, there are plenty of moves in this game, and trying to use each and every single one of them with intention, that's a keyword, intention, can be quite hard. So we're going to start by making it very easy on ourselves, and we're going to be using 3 to 4 moves maximum with Shaheen. But what we want to do is to make sure that every time we're using those moves, we have an idea of what we're looking for, and we're able to adapt depending on what our opponent is showing us. Because remember, we're observing. Now, I know that Tekken 8 feels like The Last of Us sometimes. It's a solo player experience, but it's a multiplayer game, alright? So we need to know what our opponent is doing. So the moves we'll be using on Shaheen will be his down forward 1, his down 1, his down 4, and his 10 frame punish 2-3. From a distance, we also might be using while running 2 every now and then. So in total, that's 5 moves, which is not a lot, but now we want to be sure that we have an idea of what we're doing with each of those moves. Now to start with Shaheen's down forward 1, it is a generic down forward 1, which I've also talked about in the previous video, meaning that it comes out at 13 frames fast, and it is only -1 on block. What this means is that, for one, the move is really quick, and on top of it, it gives us a lot of leeway to move around if our opponent is trying to retaliate as soon as they block it. What you'll come to realize by using small moves like this is that a lot of people have very hard to break habits, where when they block a move as subtle as down forward 1, they cannot help but press a button right after to try and take their turn back. So more often than not, this means that when you use a sequence like down forward 1 into sidewalk, you're able to get an easy punish on an opponent who's just eager to try and take their turn right back. So here our goal as observants is to use down forward 1 and, like I said earlier, watch what our opponent does when they block it. You could do down forward 1 and sidewalk, down forward 1 and backdash, or even do down forward 1 into down forward 1, which will beat people who press buttons that are too slow. The point is that you're observing them and you're looking for information. A very common way people want to take their turn back against down forward 1 is by doing a single jab or a jab string. Now you could go for a sidewalk to beat that, but a single jab can be pretty hard to punish on reaction, and the issue with jab strings is that they have a tendency to track you, the second hit especially. But in Shaheen's case, once you have used down for one enough to observe the fact that your opponent is always going for jabs right after, you can start using moves like Shaheen's down back 4, which is a high crush that gives us an entire combo on regular hit. Now after you've high crushed someone's jab once, you need to think of them potentially adapting by using a mid next time, for example. But that's okay, because in most cases it'll mean that you can use down forward 1 and sidewalk to beat said mid. And then the same goes for if they start using homing moves to beat you doing down forward 1 into sidewalk. We can either block those homing moves if they're unsafe, we can duck them if they're highs, or we can use faster moves after down for 1, like Shaheen's Magic 4. The point is, our offense gives us the opportunity to not only observe and take into account what our opponent is doing so that we can beat them if they try to adapt, but also we're able to just beat them very easily if they cannot catch on, which, trust me, in so many cases, people just do not catch on to things that are this subtle. Now, if for some reason your opponent is not really giving you much to work with after blocking your down forward 1, either because they're just holding back since you've conditioned them not to press, or because from the beginning they were more of a patient kind of player, this gives you an opportunity to start going low, for example. This brings us to the two lows that we mentioned earlier, Shaheen's down 1 and his down 4. Shaheen's down 1 is a very good low that leaves us crouching, gives us some pretty decent damage, as well as a +4 frame advantage, whereas his down 4, which has pretty good range, only gives us a frame advantage of +1. Now, when down 1 hits, we can use Shaheen's while sending 1 right after to call out people who love to mash, and that gives us a guaranteed counter hit follow-up right after. If it turns out that your opponent never mashes after down 1, maybe because they understand that when they're managed, they probably shouldn't be pressing, there are two things that you could do as Shaheen. One, you could slide, because down 1 actually leaves you full crouch, so if you know that your opponent is looking to just hold back and wait it out, sliding is a good way to force them into making a decision. Something else you could do though if you don't want to commit to the slide is, after they got hit by down 1, you go for while sending 1 anyway, because when while sending 1 is blocked, it actually happens to only be -2. Which, as we saw earlier, gives you a lot of free room to try and move around. So you can sidewalk to beat an opponent who's looking to take their turn as soon as they have blocked while sending 1. This makes your offense a lot more layered, and it forces your opponents to think a little bit more before they're able to take their turn. As for Shaheen's down 4, it only gives us a frame advantage of +1, meaning that you don't really get that much trying to frame trap people. The strength of this move actually comes from the amount of range that it has. So when you're using down 4, what you could do is what we talked about earlier, which is doing nothing. So using down 4 and simply just backdashing and watching your opponent, especially when you're at the wall, can actually get you a lot of mileage, which I'll show you later when we get into our games, especially against people who love to press buttons. Lastly, we have 2-3, which is our 10 frame punish, and which we'll be using after we block unsafe moves, or after we've made some moves with using down forward 1 into sidewalk, as we talked about earlier within our game plan. Now, what exactly are we looking for here? Shaheen's 2-3 can transition into sneak stance by holding down forward. On hit, this leaves Shaheen at a frame advantage of +10, which means that using any move from the stance pretty much cannot be interrupted unless your opponent is using power crushes. So what we'll be doing in our games after our 10 frame punish is transition into the stance and use 1+2. It is a mid heat engager that practically cannot be sidestepped in that specific situation, and it cannot be interrupted by buttons. It does lose to power crush though, so if it comes to that, we'll use sneak 1 instead, which is much faster but is a high. So, against people who mash against 2-3, you're pretty much guaranteed to get that heat engager every time. But once again, we have to think, what happens if our opponent is just blocking? If after your 10 frame punish into the sneak stance 1+2, your observation is that your opponent is always blocking, perhaps because they understand that they shouldn't be mashing in this specific situation, well, the thing is, sneak 1+2 actually gives us a frame advantage of +4 on block, and it leaves us crouching, which should remind you of a move that we saw earlier. And so after using 1+2, we're actually in the same exact situation as we are when we use down 1 on hit, meaning that everything that applied earlier actually applies here as well. In that way, our offense is layered and takes into consideration our opponent's responses and their habits, making it so that we're able to evolve the game as they are trying to make different decisions. Generally speaking, it's good to get into the habit of pressing something and then taking a look at your opponent to see what they like to do. Then putting them back in that same exact situation to figure out whether or not you have a pattern in your hands, because if you do, that could very well be your win ticket.
And here we go. That was a crush. This time only putting the brakes on. He's definitely trying to bait him in for some attacks, but it's not working. That dog. Oh, big. That is a huge counter hit.
John Dick with the down for two counter hit. All the way to the wall. Extra damage guaranteed. He's got the small lead now. Who is going to take it? 50-50. Denied.
Oh, he went for the mid.
Oh my God.
Did you see that confidence? And that's going to be it.
Take it.
Okay, we got another DJ player. Let's see. And how he reacts to our pokes. 1-1-2 round start. That's not a bad option. Okay, he seems to be a 1-1-2 enjoyer. That's fine. Do you whiff? That's a good move to use at that range. I can sidewalk right to beat that. And to beat this too, apparently. Okay, enough playing around. Whoa! Let's actually press our buttons. Can you get off me? The way he uses jabs, I'm convinced if I do down for one, he's just gonna jab me all the time. This is winnable, by the way. We can win this round. Okay, that's good. He matches here. And the second time he does Power Crush. So he doesn't want to block at all. We'll do the option that beats Power Crushes next time. Anyway, down for one. Of course, 1-1-2. We thought so. Let's see. Surely he doesn't do it next time, right? Oh. Let's wait here. Let's not do too much. Down 4. What do you do? 1-1. Okay. Okay, that was pretty YOLO for me, I'm not gonna lie. I could have ducked. Since I know he's looking for 1-1, after I see the first one whiff, I can just duck the second one. I'll show you an example. I'm gonna do down for the one, backdash the first one, and duck the second. Like this. How? Tekken, why are you holding me? Why are you holding me, Namco? Okay, anyway, he's a 1-1-2 machine, so it shouldn't be too complicated to beat him. Ouch. Not if he starts doing this, though. Good, I did not expect him to block, you know? You wanna whip something? Thank you. I'm doing lows just because it beats 1-1. Come here. Let's wait for him to whiff something. He didn't whiff it. I'm gonna stay on the gun for a second and just chill for a bit. I should have absolutely killed him. I should have killed him again, but that's okay. Yeah, he's gonna do something crazy for us. We know it. Alright. Round start, we're gonna do a high crush again to beat 1-1-2. Thank you. We bring him to the wall. Whoa, what's going on? That was on my end. We do down 4 and we wait. But he's scared. Okay. What do you do here? Nothing. Now we just wait. My game is glitching a little bit though. Okay, I'm not gonna do the high crush this time, I'm just gonna sidewalk. Sir, that's plus? Power crush? Oh, he didn't do it this time. Thank God. Down 4? Oh my God. This is duck for hell sweep. He's still mashing there. Basically, all in all, he doesn't want to block. 1-1-2, there it is. See, it kind of tracks sometimes, the second hit, so that's why going for like a high crush is not a bad idea, unless he does stuff like that. Backdash and duck. He's been doing down back 2 and 1-1-2, so backdash duck at the beginning of the round beats both options. Ouch. 1-1-2 again. Every Mishima ever. Down 4, backdash. See? You know 1-1 is coming, so you can backdash the first one and duck the second one. works every time. I was pressing, but yes, he did it earlier. Let me sidewalk now. What? I'm getting mixed up. No, no, no. GG's. So round start, we're just gonna wait for him to do something crazy. Okay. Against down for one, for some reason he's just mashing back one. So that's free. We get him to the wall. If I do a low, he's probably gonna do back one again. Let's see. Okay, he didn't. But he whipped something different. Yeah. Down forward one, bait back one, with punish. If you're ready for it, it's always a hop kick guaranteed. Let's try it. Like so. Because he's too afraid, like he's not really confident in his own defense, so let's go low here and wait. See? Shaggy players will always do, oh my god, something crazy like that. He just doesn't want to block. You should try to keep it as solid as possible, just play within your frames. I'm gonna try to get him to do something crazy again, down 4, just wait. Okay, that's fine. That's insane, why would you do that? 50-50! Oh. Oh, he's dead. He's just like... He just doesn't want to hold back for a second. And that could save him a lot. Like, why are you doing this round start? You're gonna do something crazy, I know you are. Wait. Oh, well. Okay, let's try to get him to do back one again. He's not doing it, wait. He may be learning. What about now? What? What is this? I'm gonna duck. What's going on? I'm confused now. Okay, let's do down one. Frame trap? Oh, he's not mashing. But we can sidestep after down one. 50-50, I'm gonna go low. Oh, he's in my head. I got cooked. Round start, we just wait. Yeah, for stuff like this. Back one. Okay, same thing. It's just so efficient. Down 4 into a backdash. You know what I mean? He was stuck in AOP there. I'll do it again. I should have absolutely dug that. I'm a bot. I haven't played against Xiaoyu in a while. Okay, let's stay on the ground for a second. Yes, sir. What's next? What's next? I was so late. 50-50. I'm gonna duck again. 3-3. I'm gonna rage out as soon as he whips anything. Look at the rollback. It's insane. What are you like? What are you doing? What's he doing? What? Okay, it's just lagging.
You win.
Yep. Alright then.